Welcome to Sweet Tea Channeling. I'm Debbie Pokornik, and as always, with me is my partnerpreneur and our gifted channeler, Susan Hoskins. Today's episode is a sweet tea treat, where we take a nugget from a previous channeling and play with it in the stream of consciousness to see what new pictures might arise. We like to think of it as an incredible kaleidoscope, changing shape and color as we go. As we do this, we are raising our vibration, remembering parts of ourselves that we might have lost touch with, and perhaps most importantly, helping to create a reality right here, right now, that is filled with kindness, compassion, abundance, and delight, a place we refer to as Hoomadhi. We have already opened sacred space for all of us, but just want to remind you to take a moment to center, ground yourself, and then call in your own spirit guides to assist you in pulling out whatever is most relevant to you in this moment. All right, the next channeled nugget we want to discuss is: with simple kindness, non-judgment, and understanding of what another might be going through, you are looking for what you have in common, not only your shared divinity, but your shared humanity.
I really love this nugget because oftentimes I think it's easier to understand our shared divinity, that we're all one, than our shared humanity, because oftentimes those we encounter seem so different. And how can we possibly relate to their experience? And yet, when you can connect, it's brilliant. You don't need to know their story. You just need to know the pieces that we all feel together, whether it's love, joy, disappointment, sorrow, pain, it's all there for us.
Absolutely. I hadn't really stopped and thought about what that means to me. And so I love what you just shared about it. I love all that we heard in that channeling, because I think it is so important that we look for those pieces of ourselves that we can relate to in another. And we're so good, I think, at protecting our vulnerable side of ourselves. We have all these little coping mechanisms that we put in place so that we can do the things we need to do in life, that we sometimes forget. Oh, yeah, I do that when I feel vulnerable.
Oh, I love that because
Yeah.
for me, it took it to a deeper level. So when I'm seeing in someone's behavior, and I'm picturing someone right now that seems offensive or off-putting to me in some way, what this channeling had me think about was the fact of, if I can just stop for a minute, connect, then, as you just said so well, I can say, let me think of a situation where I felt vulnerable or I felt afraid and I reacted in a similar manner, or at least in a manner that was protecting me. And man, that really makes a difference.
It really does. Yes, I'm reminded of a couple things, but I think the one I'll share right now is about a woman that I worked with her on a committee. So I didn't work with her on a regular basis, but she was part of this committee. And when I first met her, I thought, oh, this woman is going to drive me nuts, because she was just so particular and so, well, she was really good actually at what she did, but she just, I don't know, she just had these little things she did. And then one day somebody said to me, she really reminds me of you. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And I had to kind of take a step back because I was offended instantly. And then I was already at a point in my life where I stopped and asked myself, why does this offend me? So the more I looked at it, the more I realized exactly this, that it was those pieces of myself that I was seeing in her, which actually, for the most part, and this is going to sound really immodest, and I don't mean it that way, but they were good qualities. They
Hmm.
just bumped up against me because they meant that I wasn't running the show.
Ah,
And I was used to being kind of the one in charge. So it was a really interesting thing for me. And it took about a year before I could really look at her with total admiration and acceptance of who she was. And I think what happened is those rough edges had disappeared because I was no longer receiving the mirrored reflection as something for me to look at.
yeah, or something, seeing something that bumped up against you rather than the qualities you share with this person. Because the minute you were telling the story, I'm going like, well,
She kind of sounds like you, Debbie.
yeah, Debbie, that's what I admire in you because you do such a good job of that. So isn't
Mhm.
that funny?
So as far as the nugget goes, I just really feel that's an important piece for us to always be keeping in mind. As a human, how would I feel in that situation? Or if not, because sometimes you just can't relate at all to the situation, but what would make me react that way? What would be going on for me? And it doesn't mean that you're writing their story for them, right? That's important too, that we're not suddenly thinking that this is their story, but more that we're recognizing it as a way to connect and see, oh gosh, this is how I would feel.
That's exactly what happened in the experience I shared on that particular day when I did that, because the deeper level was I could say, oh my gosh, this is how I felt when I was doing so much and trying my best and nobody was appreciating it. And I went, oh, that's me. I wonder if that's him. It's not that I presumed it was him, but I wondered. And that felt really good.
Yes. Nice. All right. Do you feel complete with this nugget?
I do. And I'm going to practice this today more and more, just connecting with people eye to eye so that we can see deep into their shared humanity.
Yes. Nice. Me too.
Okay.
Ready to join us live on these calls? Send us an email at info.hoomadhi, that's HOOMADHI @gmail.com. We'd love to have you play with us.